Batman is DC's most popular hero, someone who will always do the right thing no matter what, always fighting on the side of good and truth. But even with that, well, no hero has had more evil versions of themselves than Batman either. There's literally an entire dark multiverse devoted to this idea. And so today, let's take a look at a lot of these evil versions of Batman, ranking them all from weakest to strongest. So let's get to it. Leatherwing is basically what would happen if Batman became a Nazi. The story is as simple as that. He's a merciless enforcer for the Third Reich after the Nazis won World War II. In a lot of ways, he's still like any other Batman. He's a skilled fighter, a master planner and tactician, has all sorts of toys and gadgets, just that he's using all of them in the service of Nazis. There came a time when the Gotham City Police Department took 3 of its officers and tried to turn them into their own version of Batman. Problem is, the mental conditioning and training broke all their brains and caused them to go insane. The worst one out of all of them managed to escape, go into hiding for years, only to emerge decades later as the Devil Batman, calling himself the Batman of Bethlehem. He had come to believe that he was one of the 4 beasts from the Book of Revelation, so he took control of all the villains in Gotham who would have destroyed the city if Damian Wayne hadn't stopped him. Nemesis is basically what would happen if you took Batman and the Joker and mashed them up into one person. It's just asking, what if Batman grew up and used all his wealth and abilities to become a supervillain versus a superhero? And just like the real Batman, Nemesis has no powers, but wins a lot of fights through prep, skill, and pure determination. He's also got absolutely no problem with killing anyone in his way, and is increasingly brutal as the fight goes on. One of the only rules that Batman lives by is no guns. That's not his thing. Well, for the Grim Knight, a Batman from the dark multiverse, guns are kinda his whole thing. He decided that his fight against crime was gonna mean killing every criminal, and guns were the best way to get that done. He's got no problem gunning people down, throwing knives into them, setting them on fire, doing whatever it takes to make sure they're put down permanently. And Grim Knight became so dark and demented that he actually agreed to team up and help the Batman Who Laughs take over the main universe, fighting Prime Batman in Gotham City. Flashpoint Batman isn't necessarily evil, but he's definitely towed the line from time to time. In this universe, the night that Thomas and Martha Wayne were shot dead in the alley, well, Bruce Wayne was actually killed instead. This caused Thomas to become Batman, going all out in his effort to destroy crime, killing villains in some seriously violent ways. And while Thomas isn't straight up evil, he did team up with Bane in an attempt to get Bruce to stop being Batman, and kinda ruined his life in the process. It doesn't make sense why Thomas wanted to do this to his son, but he did, and it definitely made him the villain for a while. Owlman is quite literally an evil version of Batman from an alternate universe within DC, the first of many who would follow. He was actually responsible for killing his own parents, then took their wealth and trained himself just like Batman, except his goal is to rule and dominate Gotham City rather than actually trying to save it and help people. Him and Batman have fought each other plenty of times. Even the whole Justice League has battled against the crime syndicate, all while Owlman tries to take over Batman's Gotham just like his own. On Earth -32, Bruce Wayne was given a Green Lantern ring after having watched his parents gunned down. He took it as the perfect tool to make criminals pay, only to find out that the ring wouldn't let Bruce kill people. Well, Bruce wasn't having that, and poured the emptiness in his soul into the lantern ring, using it to actually corrupt the ring and break it. Now he had no problem killing, and from there this Batman went on to become a Green Lantern that took out his enemies without mercy. Of course, Bruce wasn't satisfied with just being any other Green Lantern, so he supercharged himself using his inner darkness, created a new oath, and called himself Dawnbreaker. The Batman of Earth -44 started out as a hero, but when his villains brutally killed Alfred, well, Batman blamed himself. Unable to accept the loss, he asked Cyborg for help in creating an AI based off of Alfred, calling it the Alfred Protocol. Unfortunately, the AI immediately spread like a virus, managed to kill every villain who might have threatened Batman. Eventually, the Alfred Protocol went one step further and took over Bruce's mind, replacing his frail body with a new mechanical body. And with that, the murder machine was born. Batman of Earth -12 started out as just a typical Batman, only Ares, the god of war, came down to Earth. This Ares possessed a helmet that made him 100 times more powerful than normal. So in order to stop him, Batman and Wonder Woman fought side by side for years on end. By the end of the fight, Batman was able to get his hands on Ares' helmet and put it on himself, all to defeat Ares once and for all. However, its corrupting power was too much, turning Batman into the new God of War, so the mind of Bruce Wayne with all the powers of Ares himself. Batman of Earth -52 was once the hero of Gotham City, but after losing one too many sidekicks, well, Bruce had had enough. He realized that while he wasn't fast enough to stop all crime, there was one man who was. And so Batman did the next logical step. He beat every one of Flash's villains and used their gear to fight the Flash himself. Then he trapped Flash, sent them both into the Speed Force, absorbing all of Flash's powers, becoming the unstoppable Red Death. Batman, the Last Knight on Earth, follows Batman as he's fighting his way through a post-apocalyptic wasteland, with his only companion being the decapitated head of the Joker to keep him company. But turns out, well, that wasn't the only Batman, because there's also Omega, the villain responsible for causing the world to be wrecked in the first place. He managed to destroy Darkseid and took his head, then took control of the villain community, ruling the wasteland with an iron fist. The Batman of Earth -1 actually isn't the first hero to go crazy on his world. That was Superman. This Superman snapped and became a villain. And when Batman wasn't able to bring Superman back to normal, well, there was just one thing left to do. Take a modified version of the Doomsday virus, transform himself into Doomsday, and kill Superman. And considering that this is now Batman's mind inside the body of Doomsday, well, safe to say that he's all but unstoppable to pretty much everyone, everywhere. Batman doesn't tend to mess around with magic, preferring to stay in the worlds of science and logic. Well, Batmage is an evil version of Batman who embraced the mystic arts, becoming a master sorcerer and an expert with chaos magic. And along the way, well, he managed to bound Etrigan the Demon to his own soul and capture the power of the Spectre, all of which made it pretty easy to take over the world. Batmage is one of the most powerful sorcerers in the whole DC universe, to the point where he managed to easily defeat the magic users of Earth and nearly destroyed the whole United States along the way. Batman always has contingencies for everything, and turns out Failsafe is the contingency for if Batman ever went rogue. But while the robot was designed to stop a rogue Batman, well, Failsafe actually went rogue himself, and trashed absolutely everyone in his way. We're talking about a robot with the mind of Batman, the fighting skill and ability of Batman, enough power to fight against and beat the Justice League, and a relentless drive to stop anyone who stands against it. It's insanely powerful. If you've ever wondered what it looks like for Batman to beat Darkseid, well, here's your answer. After beating Darkseid, Batman absorbed his powers, mastered the anti-life equation, and even transformed all the parademons into para-Robins. Darkfather is essentially Darkseid with Bruce Wayne's intellect, the body of a new god, and all the apocalypse technology you can imagine. So yeah, he's basically unstoppable. But the top evil version of Batman? Well, that has to be the Batman who laughs. He's the leader of the Dark Knights, the servant to the Bat God. And after killing the Joker, well, he went so crazy that he became worse than the Joker ever could have been. And at his best, well, the Batman who laughs managed to transform himself into the Darkest Knight, an evil Batman with the powers of Dr. Manhattan. And the Darkest Knight became so powerful that he could rival and defeat Perpetua, literally the creator of the multiverse. Yeah, no doubt about it. Batman Who Laughs isn't just the most evil version of Batman ever, but he's also the most powerful.